Hello, Nomads, and welcome to the Nomads of Fantasy, a weekly video game and movie game club where we make a new universe our home every week. Today we are gathered here to go over what we've been playing in October of 2022. We are also here today with Mr. Eric.
Hello. My voice cracked a little. I'm going through puberty.
Yeah, we're here with Brandon.
Hello.
Hey, guys. What's going on? How you been? How was your Halloween?
It's good. Good. Late night.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Because Halloween, you can't just have it once now.
I was going to say.
Like twice a weekend.
There's everywhere has like trick-or-treating now. Like the zoo, like baseball field we went to.
Parking lot,
we went to
schools,
like the park. Yeah.
Fire
McDonald's.
halls have them, like giving away candy there.
Like how much candy do we need?
Too much.
It's a lot.
It's too much.
It's a lot.
And then social media is just filled with little asshole kids stealing all the candy out of bowls from people's Ring doorbells and then running away. So, just a note to self: get yourself a paintball gun and shoot those little fuckers. So, other than that, what have you guys been up to? What have you guys been playing? What have you guys been watching in October? How about we go with Brandon first?
Ooh, me. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So actually, yesterday or 2 days ago, I watched a movie randomly called Barbarian, and it's a horror movie.
Okay.
And it had a lot of buzz. I just noticed on Twitter.
Is it a new movie? When did this come out?
Yeah, it just came out. I think in September, maybe.
Okay.
And
Never heard of it.
Where'd you watch it?
I think I just watched it on HBO. It just came to HBO, and it was fine. You know, I don't know. Horror movies are hard to pull off, I think, and this had solid acting, it had mystery. It takes place really in one spot, a house, and it's just about like an Airbnb mix-up kind of thing, where both people are staying at the same place, but something is going on in the house, and it's up to you to kind of figure out. Anyways, it gets pretty creepy.
Sounds cool.
It's just kind of messy. It has some moments that are, I don't know, kind of fun, and then just but then out of nowhere it'll just change the style, change the mood, and you just it feels kind of messy with the storytelling. So that was annoying. So I think I even put like an 84 rating on it when I tweeted about it.
I mean,
so
84 is pretty damn good.
It's good. I mean, it's good.
I was going to say you're downplaying it, but 84 is a great score.
It's got 92 on Rotten Tomatoes, too. So you're not the only one.
Yeah, it had good rate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah, that was random I watched.
Came out September, directed by Zach Kreger. I don't know if I've ever heard of anything he's done either, but that's interesting. So that's on HBO?
Yeah. It's not too scary.
It's tough to, after Halloween, I find it tough to get into the horror stuff after.
Right.
It's got so much build up all of October and by the time November hits, you just want to watch some rom-coms or something. I don't know. Something.
Well, according to retail stores, it's Christmas time now.
Oh, God, no.
The day after Halloween.
Tell my wife that about Hallmark movies. They've been. Christmas is already in full swing. So.
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
All right, that sounds cool.
Perhaps we do a Hallmark movie on the show.
No, God. Please, no.
We'll take the highest rated Hallmark movie.
They all have the same formula.
It's got to be like a 62 or something, you know?
Yeah. They all use the same. They rinse, wash, repeat. The same themes and the same template.
He's an small town architect.
She's from the
she
big
works
city.
in marketing.
Yeah. Coming to write an article about small town in America. And then they have like some weird confrontation in the beginning where she doesn't like him, but then all of a sudden later she finds out he's really sensitive and he owns a bakery in the town and gives food to homeless people. And then,
Yes.
They always have to work Christmas into the title.
Yeah,
it's like Christmas in the City or Christmas Love or, Christmas Kiss.
Yep. Jingle bells in the small town.
Right.
Yep. All right. Enough of that silliness. Eric, what did you get into this month?
Not too much. I will bring up the main thing that I focused on. I didn't really play many games besides like our Overwatch 2 sessions. I really haven't been playing many games at all lately. But I have been playing motherfucking Marvel Snap.
Yeah, you
I
like
forgot
that, huh?
about this. I'm all in there too.
I'm addicted to it. Addicted's not not the best word, but I play it every day. Like it's like a daily ritual thing now. So I'll, get up in the morning, we get our coffee, sitting on the couch, kids watching something on TV, we're on our phones, and I'm playing Marvel Snap.
Give the uneducated a Twitter pitch on what Marvel Snap is.
Well, it is a TCG, I guess a CCG, collectible card game. And it's like a card battler. So basically, you're collecting these cards, and the high level thing, the gameplay, what I really love about it is that the gameplay mechanics themselves are super simple, and the depth comes in with the actual abilities of the cards themselves, how you build your deck, and utilizing the locations. So there's 3 locations for each round, and each of them have a different effect or ability. So like you put a card here and it adds a copy to another location, or like cards here get +1 power or whatever. So the goal is to have the most, or at least win 2 out of the 3 locations. So, and you win by getting the most power on a location, and there's a power associated with each card and a cost associated with each card. So like there's 6 rounds in each match, and you get increasing energy for each round. So round 1 you get 1 energy, round 2 you get 2 energy, and then each card again has an energy amount associated with it. So like Nightcrawler costs 1 energy, so I can play him on the first turn. But like Odin costs 6 energy, so I can't play him until the last turn, and he's a more powerful card. He has a more powerful ability. But that's the basic premise of the game, and then things kind of get crazy when you start working in the location effects. Like you can have +5 energy this turn, so you can play like all of your high power cards in like an early turn, or like I said, you can add a copy of this card to another location, and mixing and matching those abilities, and then building your deck in a way that, so I don't want to get too complicated or too much into it, but explaining the mechanics. Each card will have either, they could have no ability, or they can have an on-reveal ability, which happens when you play the card, or an ongoing ability, say like +2 power to each card at this location, and that's, ongoing for the whole match. So you kind of try to build your deck around abilities that will complement each other. So like an example would be like a deck I'm running. I have Spider-Woman, and she inflicts
She's nasty.
-1 power on all the cards at a certain location. And then I also have Odin, so I could play Odin and stack him on top of her, which Odin triggers the on-reveal ability of every card at that same location. So it'll trigger Spider-Woman's
So you can
ability
double dip
again.
Spider-Woman.
Exactly.
Yeah. One thing that's important too is you can only play 4 cards per location. So you got the 3 lanes. Each one is its own little thing, but you can only play 4 cards per each location, which means you can't go like super stacking on, one. If you fill up all 4 slots, like you're done there. Hopefully you played enough high level cards to not get it stolen away from you.
Yeah, and it's that, because you can only have 7 cards in your hand, max as well. So it's that balance of playing enough cards with enough power at each location, and then trying to predict what your opponent is also going to do. Because some abilities will be like all the Guardians of the Galaxy characters, all of their ability is like, if your opponent plays a card at the same location, then it gives your card added power. So you have to kind of predict where your opponent is going to play their cards. So there's a lot of strategy involved in where to put your cards and when to play them.
You gotta know when to dump out on a location. If you're not going to win it,
exactly,
just don't even bother putting your cards there. Put them all somewhere else. The cool thing I think on this one is that the cards, they don't get more powerful as you play. The thing that you're unlocking is like you'd go from like a regular card to like a frame break, which like the artwork comes out of the frame of the card a little bit, and then you go into 3D cards, and then you go to animated.
It's all
cards.
cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, so it doesn't affect. So like, you could be playing with a starter deck versus somebody with a more like cards that they've unlocked, and you're still competitive no matter kind of who you're playing against or
right.
what you're playing.
You're not paying to unlock cards or anything.
Yeah.
It's all like variants. Like there's, different versions of cards. Again, it's all cosmetic. It's like skins in Overwatch or something. You can have different skins of cards and it makes them, look different, look cool. But yeah, that's the basic idea. And the one other mechanic of the game is the actual snap, the namesake Marvel Snap.
Yeah, you bluff. You
press the button, and the announcer guy goes, "Oh snap!"
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But essentially, you can so you get a certain amount of experience when you win a match. But if you snap, you can essentially like double the experience that you get from the snap. And if both you and your opponent snaps, you can get like if neither of you snapped, you would get, I think it's just 1 experience. If one of you snaps, by the end you could get 4, and then if both of you snap, you can get 8. So it like there's an exponential kind of growth there on the amount of experience you get. And you can strategize when you can snap as well. And like you said, Brandon, it's kind of like a bluffing thing. Like if you think you're going to win, there's also a retreat mechanic. So, you can snap and then try to scare your opponent into retreating. Or if you know you're not going to win, you can retreat yourself and only lose 1 experience instead of like the 4 or the 8. So there's strategy involved there.
The smart thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. It's well balanced. I found that like the more cards that you're unlocking, as you're getting further in like the season you're unlocking, they're giving you free cards, but they're starting to get a little more complex where like, some cards can move between lanes, like Nightcrawler can bamf between some, and then, some cards can be destroyed, and when you destroy other cards, that card's getting more powerful. So it's like it's stacking on I guess complexity as it's going, kind of like Magic the Gathering started with. It's just like
sounds like it.
First strike and all those kind of first moves in Magic the Gathering. It's not the same, but it's a card game, But
I don't play card games, and everything he's talking about sounds like card game stuff, though. But
it is.
This is on the phone, though.
But
the whole thing.
Yeah,
is like
it's on your phone,
game.
And like the base mechanics are super simple, which I think is what was really appealing about it. And then as you play more, you can get more complex and build your decks. But another thing that I really like about it, I mean, it's Disney, it's Marvel. The presentation is like top notch. Like the cards, the animations.
I've heard good things about the art. Yeah,
looks
I heard it's
so
really
nice.
good.
The artwork
Like
is
the
really
sounds.
nice. It's like, remember those cards back in the 90s? They had those Marvel collectible cards. They were like baseball cards or whatever, and they put those out for a while. That's what kind of reminds me of back in the day, is those, because it wasn't a card game. That was just more like collecting like baseball cards or whatever, but they were Marvel characters. But it's got
And
a lot
each
of
card
cool
has
artwork.
an animation specific to the character when you play it, and a sound also when you play it. Like it's the presentation is really, really nice.
Brandon, you would love the logos as a designer. Every character's logo is specifically designed for them.
Yeah,
There's a lot of good font work. There's a lot of good.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of good
the
stuff.
artwork
You're
is
talking my
really,
language.
really good. Yeah,
I know. I
Really
kind of want to
nice.
look at it just because of the artwork, because I heard it's really nice.
Just that animations. It's really it's slick. It's very polished on the front end.
yeah, and like it's so snappy. It feels really good to play. Yeah, I didn't even mean for that pun, but it feels really good to play. Just like slamming those cards down, and everything is just very responsive and very well made card game.
Yeah,
But I think that one will have its hooks in me for a while.
They got a lot of stuff getting added to it. We were talking about, the card you need to battle your friends. You need to get clans going so you can talk to people and share decks and do all that stuff. And it's all in the roadmap that you posted in our Discord. But
Yep.
yeah, I see that one sticking around for a little bit. It's kind of sucking the life out of my other phone games. So
It's dangerous to, because I've fallen into the trap a couple times where I'm just sitting there at night and I'm like, I could get a couple rounds in before I go to bed.
it just won't.
And then before I know it, it's like, yeah, yeah, before I know it, it's like 1:00 in the morning. I'm like, shit, I probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't have stayed up.
Matches are pretty quick too. It's like a 5
They
minute
are quick,
game.
but that's the dangerous thing because it's like, oh, I can sneak in, one more, two more matches. It's only 2-3 minutes long, and I'm like, before you know it, it's 1 a.m.
Yep.
But that's a fun one
for sure. Nice. Well, I'll be playing that one with you as well. I had a good one that I don't know if we all played it. I know Brandon played a little bit of it. Phantom Abyss came into.
That's great.
Is it alpha? Is it early access? It's
early
something.
access.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That came out on Xbox. It's on Steam. It's on a whole bunch of other stuff.
Game Pass, of course.
Yep. It is a Devolver Digital published game. They refer to it as a massive asynchronous multiplayer game where you're going through procedurally generated temples and you have to find the relic at the end of it, essentially. So it's kind of like a temple runner where you're kind of dodging like spike pits and traps and, things falling from the sky, and
you can jump
pits.
You can whip stuff, and that lets you grab onto places to get higher.
Yeah, the whip can kind of pull you up, or you can smash pots with it and do some other random stuff as you go through it. But you got to get through like three or four levels basically of the temple where you're going from start to finish, collecting coins on your way so you can buy like upgrades for yourself. So maybe you get like an extra hit point, or I don't know, maybe you can double jump or stuff like that. But essentially it's a one. You're only playing each level once. Once you die on a level, like that's it. Like you don't play that level ever again.
It's like Hades, the game Hades.
Well, is it? Yeah. Wait, you might have said this. Is it procedurally generated?
Yes, but everybody's playing the same procedurally generated level. Everybody's playing the same level. And you see the ghosts of everybody that has died on that temple. So 500 people have played it. You're number 501. You're seeing 500 ghosts go running in front of you, and you're watching. You can watch them jump around the levels. You can watch them fall into pits and die. So you can kind of get a little gauge of, where to go, what to be careful of, that kind of stuff. Which
there was a racing game that did this, something turbo, but it was. That you would just go on these crazy tracks, and you would just see how like people doing like playing with you, and there was just a bunch of ghosts.
Yeah,
but it's cool in the first person view. Like it makes sense. I like it because you can kind of see where people are going, and then you'll see somebody veer off, and you're like, I'm gonna follow this guy up that way and see what because there's multiple paths.
But it's also like a double-edged sword because you know that everybody that you're following is dead because. You can follow the guy, but he's gonna die somewhere.
That's a good point. Eventually, they will die.
You don't want to follow too closely to people. You want to make sure that you're not just like blindly following somebody like across a chasm or something like that, or they're going to find some weird treasure chest somewhere. You got to be a little careful. But they also have each one has like it's like a god or like a guardian or whatever that kind of pushes you along to make sure you're moving through the game. So it'd be like some Aztec totem or something that pops up behind you and it spits out like poison gas or something like that. And you gotta, street to feet, get your ass moving through this temple.
You ever play a Bubble Bobble?
Yeah.
Where if you were taking too long on the level, that ghost like thing would start coming out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's some cool ones. One shoots out laser beams, one shoots out poison blobs, and as you get deeper in the temple, their like cooldown starts to reduce, so you gotta kind of push you a little faster through the temple. So it's pretty sweet. You get to see all you get to the second level of the temple, and it'll show you the first level and everybody's name who kind of died. Well, I don't think it shows everybody, but it shows people's names who have all died on the levels above you, and then you're getting down, and it's 400 people left to go through this level, and then 200 left on the bottom level, and then essentially you get to the end. And
I was gonna say, is there a set amount of levels that you're supposed to complete?
That I haven't gotten too far in. I have beaten a temple, and I unlocked like another whip essentially, and then that whip was like you get an extra heart, but stuff at the sale place costs more, so it's kind of like a give and take a little bit. But I mean, it's got some light puzzle solving in there too, which is kind of cool. Where you got to get like a key and put it on a door, or they have like rooms that are dark and you got to grab a torch and run through them, or there's all sorts of weird, crazy shit that's going on. Feel like Indiana Jones.
That's cool.
Temple diving.
So is it like a roguelike where you're starting every time you die, you start from the top?
Yeah, every time you die,
bottom,
you're starting an entirely different. You're not playing the same temple again. So every time you die, you're playing a new temple, and seeing all the people that have died on that one. And essentially, when somebody beats a temple, it's taken out of the rotation. So only one person is beating this temple, and then it's done. So
it's a cool concept. Yeah.
Yeah, like Brandon said, it's a first-person game. It's cool to kind of run through these temples. It's kind of got kind of like a cartoony, almost like not cel shaded, but I don't know. It's got a soft texture on it. It's not like hyper realistic or anything.
Yeah, the graphics aren't like the best, but
it's a really cool idea of a game, and it's definitely worth kind of checking out if you have it on Game Pass or not. In Steam, it's $25, but it is still in early access, so I'm sure they'll be adding to and tweaking all sorts of stuff there. So that's a cool one. Phantom Abyss is the name of that one. How about we jump over to Brando? What else you got over there?
I'm actually happy about this game that I bought. I don't buy a game randomly, but I bought a game called Spellforce 3. Spellforce 3. It apparently came out in 2017, but they brought this to Xbox, I think maybe a little bit later, and PlayStation. What's cool about it is, if anybody that knows me and my history of gaming, there is a game that I love more than many, and it was Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2. And it was a real-time strategy game that they put on consoles and computer. And I played on both, and they were kind of their own thing a little bit. There were differences between them, but I love that game so much. And you can say that role-playing games or RTS games don't work on consoles. You can say that, but it's not true. And you can say that Halo Wars is pretty good, and you can say that. But if you didn't play the Lord of the Rings games, especially Battle for Middle-earth 2, on the 360 and PlayStation 3, you missed out, I think, on an incredible game. I think it was one of the best, if not the best. But to me, it's one of my favorite games. So why am I saying all this? Because it's been, it was a Warner Brothers IP. It was tied to a franchise, and they shut down the servers. It's a dead game. And you got to do all this rigmarole to kind of play through it in this weird way in the PC. Dave actually tried doing it, and I guess it works. But it's just ridiculous. Like, I should be able to put a game in and play it, for fuck's sake. And imagine your favorite game, a game that is like comfort food for you. For fuck's sake. Is gone, and you can't play it unless you play against a computer. So Spellforce 3 is being held as good as those games. And I bought it right away, and I have been playing around with it.
On console?
On the console, on the Xbox.
Nice.
It has great frame rate, high detail. I think the controls are... I think they're fine. It's pretty similar to the Lord of the Rings game. Some things are just a little bit different, so I don't know if it's just me wanting it to be like the Lord of the Rings game, and it's not because it's so similar, or it's just me I just got to learn these new controls. But other than that, I'm liking it, and what's cool about it is it takes elements of Diablo, with like the character that you play in Diablo, like you're picking up, I don't know, inventory and stuff like that. And if you play those Lord of the Rings games, you could have Gandalf, you could have Aragorn, you could have like all these cool bosses, Saruman and all that stuff. But as you play with those heroes, they would get stronger and stronger, and they would have more powers. So in this game, same thing's going on. They're getting more powers, but you can also give them equipment. Like as you play Diablo, you swap things in and out. So I like that. I think you can make your own heroes, and there's this whole level of heroes that I haven't figured out yet. There's 6
single-player campaign? Is that what you're playing through?
It's a single-player campaign. I think it might have co-op. I'm not sure. And then there's online. I haven't done online yet. I'm still just playing against the computer because I'm still trying to figure this game out. But yeah, if you like real-time strategy games, it takes place. It takes place in kind of a fantasy world, castles and knights and all that stuff.
It's its own. It's not based on anything though. It's its own kind of IP.
I think so. I mean, honestly, I don't know anything about this Spellforce franchise at all, but this is the third one. I'll say one thing. So you guys know me.
Yep.
You know that I don't like The Witcher.
Nope.
I want to like The Witcher. I'll play The Witcher. I just can't listen to The Witcher. I can't stand the main protagonist's voice. Geralt's voice is annoying. The TV show comes out, and he sounds just like the TV character. I'm like, it's a dumb voice. I can't stand it. Just personal opinion. I can't stand it. It's hard to get in something when you don't like the main character. So what happens when I play this game and I'm playing like the tutorial? The main character is that actor, and it's the same fucking voice. The thing is like this weird. It's like, isn't the whole point of The Witcher is that he has a weird voice? But it's just like this guy's normal voice.
Dark and gravelly.
He talks like this, and it's just like, dude, he just sounds weird. Oh yes, I talk like this for no reason. Stupid. It's just lame. Well, anyways, he's in it.
That's his thing.
Other than that, you might, if you actually like The Witcher, you'd probably be like, oh, that's a great selling point.
Henry Cavill isn't playing The Witcher anymore, sadly.
That's not good news.
It's going to a Hemsworth. Well, good news for Brandon, I guess. But we get to see
no,
here
because he's
Hemsworth.
going to do the same dumb voice.
Hemsworth did the same voice,
yeah.
Can't
exactly.
wait. I don't like when they switch.
I don't like when a
system series.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like recasting, especially on the main character.
In for a penny, in for a pound. You know, if you're gonna do the game, you're gonna do the game.
Yep.
Sorry.
But that was my review so far of
Spellforce 3.
Reforced. Yep.
Reforced. Oh.
Yeah, I think it's like an enhanced version, but it looks good. I got it for $40. Wasn't on sale. I just straight up bought it. I am liking it, but if you see it on sale, I think it's definitely worth it because there's a lot it throws at you.
Support your developers. Nice. All right. Eric, you got anything else over there?
I got another thing.
Yeah, sure.
A little while ago, I was in an anime mood, and I was looking around. There's been a couple of anime that I've been wanting to watch lately, but the one that I landed on was Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
Ooh.
It's the new Cyberpunk anime that came to Netflix recently. And I've been talking about it in the Discord, trying to get you guys to watch it because it is fucking awesome.
Is it?
Like I don't want to spoil anything, but
it's a cyberpunk anime, obviously. But does it tie into the game at all, or it's just built in that universe?
It's set in Night City.
Okay.
So it's the Cyberpunk 2077 universe, and there is some references. I mean, I didn't finish Cyberpunk. I still have to go back to the game, but no, the main character's name is David, and he's like a
cool guy.
High school kid,
nice.
Like high school dropout.
Cool.
But it's good. I really don't want to give too much away, but it was created by Studio Trigger, which I hadn't watched too much of their other stuff before, but they did a couple of those Star Wars Visions episodes.
Oh, sweet.
Which were some of the better ones, and like the animation is just incredible. It's beautiful to look at. And it really did make me want to go back and play the game just because I think they recreated the world in Night City.
Apparently a lot of people did, dude, because it's like super popular right now.
They saw a huge uptick in Cyberpunk players after the anime came out. But
there was an update with the game that came with it. So
that's true, too.
It's really smart. Like that's
good
how you
timing.
get
good marketing.
They finally smoothed out a lot of those rough edges in Cyberpunk. You're still going to get like that Skyrim open world jank of weird stuff happening, but at least it's not crashing. At least it's loading well. I think it's Series X. It's performing way better on.
I was gonna say the next gen update definitely helped a lot. I mean, I got into it a little bit, played a decent amount of it, but I still got to go back. But this show made me want to go back even more. Like I said, I really don't even want to give away any plot details. I just would say go and watch it. Like the finale of the show, it's 10 episodes, and they're each, anime. They're like 20-minute episodes, so they go really quick. And, I watched this over the course of a couple nights. Like I watched like 2-3 at a time over the course of a couple weeks. There's a few nights where I was just like, okay, I feel like watching this, and it was a ride, man. Like the way they ended it, I don't know if they could bring it back with a different, I'm already giving too much away. I don't want to. I don't want to spoil
way
anything.
too much, my friend.
I don't want to spoil anything.
All right,
cool.
So you highly
Just go
recommend
watch
it.
It's on Netflix.
I highly
too,
recommend
right?
it. It's on Netflix. Yep. Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
Did Netflix help make it? Like, was it one of their productions or no? Or they just got the
No,
rights? They didn't help produce
yeah.
it.
I think CD Projekt just must have teamed up with Netflix because it's the animators. It's created by Studio Trigger and published by CD Projekt Red.
Okay.
So, and I'm assuming they just worked with Netflix to get it on there. But really, really good. Watch it. And I know Eric's Anime Corner, if you've been a long-time listener, has been on hiatus for a while, but I will probably make another episode just talking about this show because I feel like I need to
dig into the gritty.
I need to talk about it, need to dig into it. Yeah. So
Nice.
Be on the lookout for that.
Cool. That sounds fun. I got a couple random little ones that I want to bring up. Finished Resident Evil 2. Like, that game is so good, but story in some of those games are kind of wackadoodle. It's
Resident Evil. The story is always weird.
The gameplay seems to be like the main draw there, but I finished it up and like the story wrapped up in like a 30-second cutscene. I was like, what the fuck is this? But I was already so close to the ending that I was kind of out of it. But
you got to go back and start another playthrough and turn on all of like the mods, like the unlimited ammo and like the get the good guns from the start. It makes it a lot lot more fun.
Well, it's
like
kind
an
of
action game.
Cool because you play. I think it was not Leon. I forget who the guy's name is.
Leon.
Is it
Claire.
Leon and Claire?
Yeah.
But there's like second playthrough, so there's Leon first playthrough and then second playthrough, and then you have Claire and then Claire's second playthrough. So I think as you're playing through, there's multiple. I'm assuming they move items around, they move enemies around, they do.
It's
a lot
not
of
too different.
Juggling.
I started a second playthrough of it and I didn't finish it, but yeah, there's some very light story beats that are different and some different items. Yeah, like you said, but mostly it's pretty much the same.
They should make an action version of those games so I could play because like I don't want to play because they're so scary. But if I had like armor on and a machine gun and I could at least just like walk through and experience the story in some capacity,
unlimited ammo would make it way less scary. I was
gonna say you could turn all the mods on and just have unlimited ammo
on all these Resident Evil games.
I know in the 2 remake they have that, but I know in Resident Evil 8 as well. Like once you beat it, you can go back through and you can do like a mode where you have like unlimited ammo and the good guns from the start and everything. So I know they have been doing that. I think that's like your reward for beating the scary game. So you can go back through and just start mowing all these.
It's like when Nintendo
zombies down.
has like a kid version of the controls, like auto steer,
Yep.
That for their games. Like give me that, but for horror games. Like don't make it brighter, but just whatever you can do to make it less scary. And
give you a line to follow, so you don't have to go wandering around looking for stuff or.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't play those games, but I want to, man. Resident Evil 2 Remake looked really good.
Yeah.
And 8 looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
But
they've got that system down. They've got it tied it up nicely. So
and they're like always on sale.
Look so fancy.
For a good deal, and I'm like, oh, $20 for like this game or $30 for all of these games. It's just like
it was $20 for 2 and 3 remakes. I don't know if that sale is still going on, but that was a Halloween sale that they were having, so. That was just a little side one. Some Castlevania, Lords of Shadow. If anybody likes God of War or third-person games, just grab yourself a Castlevania, Lords of Shadow. It's got Patrick Stewart in it, doing narrations, and he's voiced in the game. It's a good game. It's got that third-person character action. If you like the series, that's probably one of the best ones. But the real one that got me this month, it's called Despot's Game. It got added to Game Pass. I had never heard of it before. It had pixel graphics, so I'm always kind of interested in something like that. But this one is
how do you spell it?
Despot.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, Despot. I had to Google it to see how to pronounce it right. So it sound like a jackwagon, but I just told everybody that, so I'm still a jackwagon. It's essentially like it's a roguelike tactics army battler. That's what they're calling it. So, you guys have played like Smash TV, where you have like the screen, and then you kind of can go like up or down or left or right, kind of like this, like the Zelda dungeon levels, like that. So, you essentially have humans, and all the humans are kind of like just generic, and then they get a class when you buy something from the store. You buy a shield and you give it to a guy, then they're a shield dude from now on. And if you buy a sword, then they're a sword person. But it's essentially like an auto battler where you'll walk into a room and you'll see spots where the enemies are going to come, and you position your guys and move them around, put the shield guys up front, put your ranged guys in back, that kind of stuff. And you just press a button and everything goes. You don't have to actually do anything. It just kind of auto battles for you. And you're essentially you're balancing how many humans you have, because you have, they're eating food every time you move. They're, if you have 5 humans, they're eating 5 food. And every level, every room that you go through, you'll either get you can buy more humans and class items or whatever, or you can buy food. And essentially you're going through, a little kind of roguelike, I don't know, they're pretty small levels. And then you go down to the next level, and eventually you just keep going and going until, you start with 4 guys, and then you get down a couple levels and you might have 15 to 20 dudes, and you get into a room and you hit Y and just fucking chaos just ensues. And there's just dudes running everywhere and smashing, and guys are dying. And, when they die, you can pick up their stuff, buy a new human, and then, just put that stuff back on them. So the humans are kind of dispensable, where you can just get a new one. It's the class pieces that you have, but if you have 3 of a specific class, you get a little bonus. So if you have 3 shield guys, you can get a shield bonus. If you have 3 ranged guys, but they'll have to, if you have those classes, they get stronger essentially. And it's kind of it's a balance between food and how many guys you have. You can also eat your own people if you're running out of food, which it gets kind of nasty. But and then you're getting mutations, and you're leveling up as you're going down through these levels. You're getting, I forget what the currency is called, coins of some kind, and you're either using those coins to buy mutations that apply to everybody, or you're using those coins to buy more humans and more classes, and more humans and more classes, and you're just basically building up your little army.
I'm gonna have to try this.
It's cool.
I'm looking at the artwork, and I always wanted to. I've been hovering over downloading it, but hearing you talk about it sounds way more fun. The artwork, though, is so cool.
It's really smooth,
super detailed, pixelated game.
Yeah, it's developed by Confa Games, published by Tiny Build, which they seem like they're both quite indie. I don't know if I know anything else by Confa Games, but yeah, it's cool. It's got a nice little not techno-y, but it's got ambient music that kind of just sucks you in. And once you get into a groove, it's a thing where you're just oh, it's an hour and a half later, and I've been going on this one run for the last hour. So
okay,
you get in there, and once you get a couple levels down, it gets pretty intense pretty quickly. But then it's kind of got that thing where you get to a certain boss, you die or whatever. When you come back, you can change your different starting party, or you can change their starting equipment and stuff like that. So it's kind of got that replayability to it, where you can jump back in and do another run. It's got that one more run pull, but runs are kind of long, so you get one run in. It's usually as far as I get in a day, but that one's pretty cool. It's got some pretty solid reviews on Steam. It's only $20 on Steam, so. And it just came out at the end of September, so it's a new one too. So, recommend Despot's Game if you guys are looking for something, little side taste breaker to fit in between games, or if you only got a little bit to play at a night, you don't want to dive into a long RPG or something like that. It's a good taste breaker. What else do we got for you guys? Do you guys got anything else?
Not really, other than I just wanted to mention Hot D finale. No spoilers, but
don't go too far. I got
no spoilers at all, but Brandon and I both have finished Hot D, and it's great.
For people,
great
for
all
other
around.
people, it's House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones.
It's Hot D.
We like to call it Hot D. So,
but cool. Yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised with how this entire season turned out. At the beginning, I was like, why do we need this, prequel Game of Thrones with the way Game of Thrones ended? It was kind of left a sour taste in everybody's mouth, and we're like, wasn't sure about it at the beginning, but
it's a change how it's just following the one family.
But one of the big things that I noticed that I appreciate of this new series is the main character. Well, one of the main characters I would say is probably the main character is Rhaenyra, right?
Yeah.
Rhaenyra Targaryen. And I think George R.R. Martin may have written her better. The TV show has done a better job with her than I think they did with Daenerys. Looking at like this show and like, man, if they put this much development into her, because she is a badass. So, but she earns it. She had a whole season to grow, because there's time jumps in this season, or that first season. So, we kind of had time jumps, I guess, with Game of Thrones, but they never changed the actress. But still, like, I feel like a lot of us weren't really convinced about Daenerys' actions in the last season. And I feel like that's because we didn't have enough time, maybe not enough character development for her to just switch like that, where we spent more time with Rhaenyra, and I can see her decisions when they happen, they make sense. Like when it fucking ends, I'm like, what is she gonna fucking do? And that's how you end the season. So I didn't give anything away, but I just want to make a comment that they did a really good job with the main character.
Nice.
This Targaryen specifically.
Yeah, and like Dave said, it focuses on this one family and their, everything that they're doing and they're going through, and it's really is the Game of Thrones throughout this entire season.
I did watch an episode, just one, but it was weird as hell, and I think I'm gonna go back for more. I watched this show called Mr. Pickles.
The fuck? I've never heard of this.
I don't even know how to describe it. It's so batshit crazy. It's a cartoon show, and Mr. Pickles is the dog. And
it's an adult cartoon, I'm assuming. This is like a Rick and Morty cartoon?
Adult cartoon. Yeah, and this kid wants to like impress like this farmer's neighbor, like the kid that owns the dog, like the family. Well, I don't know, they're all crazy, but the boy is like 10 years old and he's innocent and stuff like that. He has a crush on the neighbor, like the farmer's daughter, and somebody tells him like, you're gonna have to get a job to impress her, to earn some money. So he's talking to some guy about, I need to get a job to impress this girl. So this guy's like, I know what job to give you. So he gives him a boob job. So this little boy has massive boobs, and he becomes like a stripper or something like that. And dude, it is outrageous.
This is the first episode?
This is the first episode. It's like Rick and Morty level of absurdity. So, but more like vulgar and extreme, So, but at the end, I'm like, that was just so wild. I did chuckle at some scenes, and I'll watch more. But yeah, Mr. Pickles on HBO.
An unknown.
I watched a lot of classy stuff because I also think I watched an episode of Trailer Park Boys, and I'm like, just dumb humor. I don't know, maybe because of all the dark stuff we've been watching for the show lately.
It's a taste breaker.
Certainly
Sometimes
happens.
you need to throw one in there.
Yeah. Yep. That's probably what it is.
Nice. All right, you guys all set?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Eric, why don't
Wrap it up.
Why don't you hit us with the socials and let's get out of here.
All right. If you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter and Instagram. You can email us at nomadsoffantasy@gmail.com. You can join our Discord at the nomadsoffantasy.com/Discord if you want to chat with us in there. But other than that, that's all we got for you this month. We will see you next month, and safe travels, Nomads.